They're everywhere. Crawling on every possible surface. All the time. Invisible to the naked eye. Millions, no, billions of them. Viruses, bacteria, microorganisms, vile, deadly parasites ready to infect me, invade my body, multiply and spread, and then kill me. The furnace repairman is finishing up, putting away his tools. I thank him for his time, keeping a cautious distance, which he thinks nothing of. We are in the middle of an epidemic, after all. And he doesn't find the blue mask covering the bottom half of my face strange. He's wearing one himself. I smile at him, managing to sound grateful and courteous, but inside I'm screaming hysterically at the top of my lungs, screaming for this intruder, this unclean intruder, to get out, to leave my sterile sanctuary and take his germs and viruses with him. He leaves my copy of the service invoice on the kitchen table, wishes me a good day. I will as soon as you leave, you disgusting diseased jerk, and finally leaves. The moment the door closes, all tension leaves my body. I collapse into a chair, trying to get my racing heart under control. Slowly, I return to a state of calm. Why did the furnace have to break now, in the middle of a sub-zero cold snap? I ponder bitterly. If it had waited just a few more days when temperatures were supposed to rise into the mid-30s, I could have postponed the inevitable for weeks, getting by with a space heater to keep warm. I feel violated having a stranger in my home, defiling the sanctity of my clean, pure environment, touching my things, spreading his germs. Germs. I shudder, feeling completely drained by my ordeal. But there's no time to rest. There are things to do. My home, my sanctuary, my safe haven away from a contaminated, infectious world is no longer sterile. I must clean it, and quickly, before the germs can spread, multiply, invade. I get up to go to the kitchen, opening the closet that contains my arsenal. Weapons that enable me to fight back against the forces of darkness that are always encroaching upon my domain, keeping me safe from an unclean, unsafe world. On the top shelf, dozens of cans of disinfectant spray, neatly arranged in rows like ranks of soldiers awaiting inspection by a general. The second shelf down, assorted bottles of bleach and other cleaning products. The third shelf down, bottles of hand sanitizer, hundreds of them, also neatly arranged. Inwardly, I'm grateful I stocked up well before the current health crisis made this valuable item such a prized commodity that was hard to obtain. The fourth shelf down, rolls of paper towels and disinfectant wipes. I never use reusable sponges or rags to do my cleaning. Those are breeding grounds for disease. The fifth and bottom shelf, boxes of latex gloves and face masks. Below the bottom shelf is my mop, a supply of disposable mop heads. I replace them after each individual cleaning. And hanging from a hook on the inside of the closet door is my clear plastic raincoat I wear as a smock whenever I do my daily cleaning ritual. I prepare for battle, donning my smock, a pair of gloves, and grabbing some wipes and disinfectant spray. I pause to consider my strategy. I think about that repairman, where he had been, and what he had touched or might have touched inside my home. He had closed the door behind him when he left. The knob. That was it. I would start at the end and systematically work my way backwards. I go to my front door, spray the inner knob, and wipe it thoroughly, gleefully envisioning the hordes of microscopic germs writhing in agony as they died. Finished, I hesitate. I have to clean the outer doorknob now, but that means opening the door to the outside world beyond, the polluted, germ-infested world outside. I feel the onset of another panic attack. Just leave it alone. My mind speaks in an urgent whisper. Don't open the door. You never go outside anyway. But if I don't clean the outside knob, the germs on it might find a way inside and might crawl through the keyhole and gain entry into my house. Germs are sneaky, insidious little parasites. I brace myself, holding my breath. 3 seconds. It will only take 3 seconds, I tell myself. Summoning the courage, I grip the knob, turn it, and thrust open my door. I go to work, frantically scrubbing the outer knob, the moisture from the wipe freezing to ice on the cold metal almost instantly. I scrub with my breath held until my lungs are throbbing for oxygen, and then step back, slam the door, and fall back against it, gasping in lungfuls of diseased air. All right, that's done. Next, I think. The basement door. He had turned the knob when he opened it to go down and look at the furnace. I enter my kitchen and sanitize the basement doorknob. And then I pause. Had he also touched the inner basement doorknob? No, No, he had left the basement door open while he'd been working. No need to clean it. It's safe. No, clean it anyway. No, clean it anyway. Don't take chances. Gotta make sure. Gotta be sure. I opened the basement door and wiped down the inner doorknob. Next, the furnace itself, of course. He'd been working on it, touching it with his filthy germ-covered hands. This causes a sudden wave of panic to overwhelm me. He had been working on the furnace, had dismantled it, and had his filthy, unsanitary hands on its inner components. His germs could have gotten inside my furnace, could be circulating right this very moment on the heater air, through my heating ducts, exiting through the vents in my house. No! I struggled to control my inner turmoil. The filter would have caught the germs. I always bought the most expensive top-of-the-line filter to keep my air system as clean and pure as possible. Reassured, I go about sanitizing the front and side of the furnace. When I am finished, all that remains to be sterilized is the floor. He had walked through my house, tracking his disgusting germ-ridden boots across my floor. I go back upstairs and fill the mop bucket with hot water and Pine Sol. It kills 99.9% of germs, but what about the remaining 0.1%? And carefully and methodically mop my floor from the living room, through the kitchen, down the basement stairs, and to the furnace, sanitizing the path of infection. Making it all clean, all pure, all safe. Done. I am done. Exhausted, but relieved, I emptied the dirty mop water down the toilet. I never dump it down the kitchen sink. The kitchen sink's where I wash my dishes, which I ate my meals off of. Germs, germs, germs. I sanitize the bucket itself, throw away the used mop head, return my cleaning supplies to their respective places, a place for everything, and everything in its place. Mother always used to tell me that, and close the closet door, feeling relaxed for the first time since that horrible man entered my home. I take off my face mask and latex gloves and throw them into the trash. I'm on my way into the living room to watch TV when my glance falls upon the kitchen counter. I came up short, a scream rising in my throat. The invoice. The service invoice that stupid repairman left on my kitchen counter. I had been so preoccupied with cleaning, sterilizing my home sanctuary, I had forgotten about it, had overlooked it. It had been sitting on my clean counter where I prepare my meals, all the while the invoice he held in his dirty, diseased hands, teeming with germs, teeming with infection. For a moment, I can't think coherently enough to act. My mind is clamoring in a frenzied horror. It sounds like 1,000 voices are screaming all at once, overlapping, "You dirty girl, germs!" And I can only stand there, frozen in panic. And then, without thinking, I dart forward and grab the infected sheet of paper off the counter. No! I had forgotten! I had already removed my gloves. My hands are unclean! You've been dirty! You've been dirty! You're dirty, 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 dirty! I rush into the living room and hastily deposit the invoice in the fireplace. And then I race into the kitchen and turn on the faucet, turning it over the hot water. When the water's as hot as it can get, seconds that pass like hours. My mind is still screaming, my heart racing. Unclean, unclean, unclean! I slather my hands up to my wrists in antibacterial soap and then plunge them under the scalding hot spray, teeth clenching against an agonized scream, knowing the hot water is good. Hot water will cleanse, will purify, will kill the germs. You've been doing it again, haven't you? Haven't you, you dirty girl? And make me pure again. After 30 seconds, I turn off the hot water. My hands are an angry red from the hot water, but they're free of germs. I grab some disinfectant wipes and carefully clean the faucet and the counter where the filthy service invoice was lying, and then I go back into the living room, take the box of matches off the mantle above the fireplace, light one, and leaning down, careful not to touch it with my bare skin, I light the invoice, watching it intently as it burns until nothing remains but ashes. I fall back into my armchair, drained but content. It's over. The nightmare is truly over. Everything in my house is clean. The balance has been restored. I'm safe now. I'm safe now. Except, I sit upright, feeling a jolt course through my body. I replay the events of this afternoon over in my head. Hello, I'm Nate. I'm here to look at your furnace. Yes, it's in the basement. I'll show you the way. I lunge to my feet, my body quivering, a watery cold sensation in my stomach. Idiot! My mind berates me in the voice of my mother. What were you thinking? I had been so foolish. I had led him to the basement, my back turned instead of pointing the way and following behind so I could keep an eye on him. How could I be so careless? A sudden malevolent vision flashes before my eyes. The evil, diseased furnace repairman, his friendly smile turning into a malicious grin the second my trusting back is turned, running his germy, contaminated hands over the furniture in the living room as he follows me, gleefully corrupting the clean counters in the kitchen as he passes by, violating my sterile appliances, corrupting everything in his wake, raping, destroying, infecting, infesting. I look around, anxious and leery, no longer safe in my home. I can feel the eyes of a billion invisible enemies watching me intently. I tread cautiously, lightly across my floor as if I'm moving across a minefield. My eyes dart suspiciously around the previously trusted and known dimensions of my house, as if looking for booby traps. I try to think rationally. 20 seconds at most. It had taken me no more than 20 seconds to lead him through my living room and kitchen to the basement floor. He couldn't have done much harm in such a brief amount of time. Couldn't have touched much. But I had no way of knowing exactly what he may have touched, or what number. Anything could be my enemy. Germs, germs, germs! Spreading and multiplying, invading, destroying! You've been a dirty girl touching that nasty thing again. I'll have to clean and sanitize everything in the living room and kitchen. It's the only way to be sure, to be safe, clean. I return to my arsenal closet, getting out my wipes and disinfecting spray. It'll take hours, the rest of the day, maybe all night, but it needs to be done. Stupid, 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 stupid. How could you be so foolish? I start in the living room, spraying and wiping down the furniture, the TV, the bookcase, the floor, grateful I don't have any carpets. Breeding ground for germs. Or else I would have to vacuum and steam clean. Hours pass. Clean, clean, clean. Make it pure, make it sterile, make it safe. Cleanliness is next to godliness, my mother used to say. I scrub the walls, scrub them until the paint begins to come off down the hallway. There into the kitchen, scrub the counter, scrub the sink, scrub the cabinet, scrub the stove, scrub the refrigerator, scrub the microwave. Oh God, what if he got into my drawers and cabinets, my dishes, my utensils, my unclean germs? No, he wouldn't have had enough time to do it anyway. Okay, I'll do it anyway. Cleanliness is next to godliness, mother said. Gotta be safe, gotta be clean, gotta be pure, gotta be safe. Okay, clean the contents of my drawers and cabinets one by one. Forks and spoons and knives and bowls and plates and vegetables peelers, potato masher, whisk, spatula, ladle, skillets, pots, and pans all must be clean and sterile. It's dark outside now. What time is it? Who cares? There's no time to look at my watch. I must clean everything. Clean inside the cabinets and the drawers next. Kill the germs, kill the diseases, make everything right, make it all good, make it... It hits me right then, what I've almost overlooked. The most crucial thing. Knowledge slamming down on me like a boulder as I spin, hard races in the direction of the refrigerator. My food! Oh, dear sweet Mary, Mother of God, he could have opened the refrigerator and contaminated my food with his filth! Food crawling with germs, swarming with bacteria and viruses beyond number, a legion of pestilence. It has to be thrown away. All of it! All of it! All of it! Distracted for a second, I absently placed my fingertip into my mouth and then realized with the most profound and soul-shattering sense of horror what I had just done. I screamed shrilly. Stupid, 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 you've infected yourself. Now you're gonna get sick, and now you're gonna die. You filthy girl, go get me the bleach. I must cleanse that nasty thing where you were touching. I must make it pure. I can feel them inside of me, already rapidly multiplying and coursing down my throat, spreading to the rest of my body, invading, infecting. No! Germs, 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 germs. Cleanliness is next to godliness. I know what has to be done now. I must destroy the germs, must stop the infection from spreading, must cleanse myself. I open the kitchen closet and get the large bottle of bleach from the second shelf down, frantically twisting the child-proof cap off. I don't hesitate. I do what needs to be done. I raise the open bottle above my mouth, tilt my head back, and pour its contents down my throat. Burning agony rushes down my esophagus, and I can no longer breathe, let alone scream. I keep pouring, swallowing until the bleach bottle is empty. It's empty. I drop the bottle and instantly begin to vomit. And there is so much blood and chunks of pinkish white, pulpy stuff off the floor. Another mess I have to clean up. My whole body is racked with pain beyond anything I've ever experienced before in my life. Although the closest thing to it was probably that day when I was 9 and I was a nasty, dirty girl and Mother had to cleanse me, and I'm growing faint. My head spinning, my vision dimming, the world fading away around me. But in spite of all this, I'm smiling. Satisfied and relieved. And just before the blackness overtakes me, I think one last word. pure.